Hello, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be different to the other channels. I mean, not the other channels, the other videos. Because I'm not recording live audio. As you can see, this is sped up 2 times to make it easier to watch and more enjoyable to watch, because City Skylines can be a very slow game. But I'm just going to we're talking over what I did, what happened, and I'm gonna hope this kind of video works out. If you would want me to turn this into a series, which I'm gonna do no matter what, I already have 2 other videos filmed but not voiced over. Well, at the time of recording this audio. Yeah, but I'm gonna start talking to you. So, I named it Lost Cruz because that's what so I'm using random disasters, but I named it Lost Cruz because that's my first big city on Xbox, and got a 70,000 and it just wouldn't load. So I named it Lost Cruz in honor of it. As you can see, I'm creating a small road to unlock the one-way roads, and I am trying to make like a pseudo highway system, really, just enough so that I don't get cars blocking like all over and huge traffic issues, which normally happens if you aren't careful. So I always start all my cities like this, one roundabout, and start doing these again like a pseudo highway system just to get them to their destinations. Now over here I am starting to grid out the industrial section, which is going to be where the factories are going to be. So I'm using dirt roads because they're cheaper to maintain and to build than asphalt roads. And I'm going to need the money, as you can see in a little bit. Again, I am playing with disasters on, so I'm going to have to be careful about that. Now, I did record this with the intent of using the audio, and I had the idea to speed it up by 2 times, just to make it go by a little quicker. And so that's how you saw me changing like the volume earlier, changing the radio stations. And I tried to spell appendix, like the thing inside your body that like has no use. And I just couldn't remember how to spell it, so I ended up naming it I Give Up. And I tried to name it Intestine, and so I just gave up on it. So it is going to stay Hancock Road or Street. So this map is interesting. There's not enough space for you to really have a water system and a sewage system on the same water thing, so I just decided that it would be easier just to use water towers. Now, I'm going to try to do this without, like, mods. I'll only use, like, custom assets and custom buildings. Not, like, mods, like, I'm not going to use Anarchy, Fine Road Anarchy, Network Extensions 2, which just adds a bunch more roads, which makes it a lot easier to play. Now, as you can see, I can't end up getting the power over to the sewage. So I decided that if I move it over to this area, I thought it was going to be easier, so I could run a small water pipe and it would just flow onto land. I couldn't take out a loan, and that was really the nail in the coffin for this city. This is my first attempt. And I was already at negative 2,600. Negative 2,800 now. So everybody's complaining about sewage, so they're not paying taxes. And I just decided that this city could not be saved. So I just let it run, trying to see if people would move in and colonize here. So we skip ahead to when I made the second city. Now I'm gonna go for the same general. It's the same map. I named it the same thing. I'm gonna go for the same style of like starting, but this time I'm not gonna actually put my sewage over there where I last had it. I'm gonna have the inland sewage treatment plant or whatever that just drains it into the ground, causing ground pollution instead of water pollution. And I'm still gonna use water towers. I feel like this will be easier in the long run. And so I started gridding it out, realizing the residential section was way too small. So I started expanding. Started gridding out the industrial section. Putting in the water. And here you can see I'm using the inland sewage treatment plant or whatever through the Green Cities DLC. I have all the major DLCs. Just I don't have any of like the minor one. I don't have most of the minor ones. The reason I have like the radio stations and such is because I just bulk bought all the DLCs when I got the game on the computer. Because again, I started on Xbox, and that's where I got like most of the DLCs and stuff. I think I got up to, yeah, I think I got Green Cities. And then I never bought the industries or anything past that. Now, I'm starting to build on the other side of the like main avenue, or soon to be main avenue. And I think it's going pretty good. And I'm just going to give you a quick spoiler. This city does not go bankrupt anytime soon. Usually I don't drop below the negatives in my cities. Sometimes I do when I'm trying to, like, do something really quick. So I just see what it looks like from afar. We have McDonald's here, which I downloaded off the Steam Workshop. All like the big name brands and stuff I actually got from the Steam Workshop. That I did not. That's a normal building. I noticed the traffic was starting to build up here, so I decided to make that a one-way road. So like I'm trying to keep this as like realistic as possible. As to not like ruin anything. Check my chirper really quick. I never have that on. So sometimes nice to look, because it also can give you like hints to like what's wrong in your city. Like they'll start complaining about like firefighters and stuff not being there and their house is burning and stuff. Look at the traffic, 95 or 93, 97, I don't remember. Somewhere in the upper 90s. I didn't have time to check. So I start building schools and hospitals. Usually I'd save the schools for way later in the game, but I had the extra cash lying around. I figured I should. Now, I'm trying to keep taxes at 9% for as long as possible so that I can, like, get more, because the higher the taxes are, the 3 bars, the higher the taxes are, the lower they are, because that's the demand, and people don't want to live in your city if there's really high taxes. And I completely forgot to give them a garbage dump. So I just messed around with that. Noticed that I couldn't upgrade that to a normal road if I were to put it there, so I changed it and moved it. Normally you can't move it when it has garbage in it, but if it doesn't have garbage in it, you can move it just fine. That's a really nice feature. So I'm just fixing the electrical grid and stuff, waiting for the population to grow. Again, this game can be very boring and tedious at times. So I started looking at the buildings and stuff. I got the Central Hotel and the Laundromat. I think it was the Art Deco thing. So I noticed that I'm out of a residential space to build, so I start expanding the main road. And I noticed that kind of goes uphill, so I was really worried that like the gridding wouldn't be correct, but thankfully it was. So I started gridding up the water pipes to try to get as much coverage as possible for as cheap as possible. So now we're a worthy village with firefighters and police officer things. So I was noticing that, well, the fire department thing was known as emergency services, but police and healthcare wasn't. So I was looking through the unique buildings and the parks and stuff. Well, the unique buildings right now, because I don't have parks unlocked. Looking at the trucks, I downloaded the UPS trucks. Again, anything that's like an actual brand, I downloaded off the Steam Workshop. I was just looking at the little icons. I just got bored waiting for the city to grow. I also started looking at the loans because I got bored again. I noticed the residential demand started to climb a lot, and so I started to like make the land area nicer so that the buildings could be upgraded so that they'd pay higher taxes so the demand would go down. But that didn't work, so I started to expand again. Now this is all unscripted. I am not going to write a whole script for a 20-minute video that probably only 10 people are going to see. I'm not going to do that. So we're a tiny town now. Got all the canals, the fences, a bunch of stuff. All interesting stuff. We got high schools, elementary schools. I mean, we already had elementary schools, but... So this is when I started to raise my taxes. Trying to just squeeze more money out of my city so that I could build more. Because you can see I only have 25,000. That's barely anything. You can't buy a large fire station for that much, so... I start to put up a cool like little thing in between the two roads, which I've actually done in another city of mine. I think it turned out really good with like the little small shops. It just gives it like a small town vibe. So I just go through trial and error of trying to place the road there. It is not easy to do because if you try to do it in the middle, it like automatically wants you to connect to the other things. So that took forever to fix. And here I am trying to flatten out the road so that it doesn't like open a portal to the underworld, like the blue void under the map. Because if like a building's foundation doesn't go that far down, like a path that has like no foundation, you can make it so that you can see under the map and it's just all blue, just the sky again. And I do not want to see that. They're extremely ugly and it looks really weird. So I start to just look around. I look at the ice cream shop. And I'm just admiring my work, not knowing that I'm about to run out of power. So I turn on smoking ban like I usually do. The happiness is really easy to go up. You can just put a bunch of parks and stuff. But the health, it's so expensive to actually increase the health care. But I don't even think it's worth it. So I put a little dog park down. Probably one of my favorite parks in the game. And I start to grid around it so I can put more residential because residential still is in high demand. So I zone it and they almost instantly start growing. Again, I'm just admiring my work. Notice I need a high school, so I put it right next to the dog park. So that like if like after a long day at high school, students can go to the dog park maybe. I don't know. I just thought it'd be, I mean, it was a central location, so. Admiring the fire trucks that I downloaded. Off the Steam Workshop again. Admiring the police cars that I downloaded. Now we're a boom town. We have highways, stuff to work with, toll booths, cemeteries, which are going to be really annoying. Disaster response unit stuff. So if a disaster strikes, you need a disaster response unit to actually fix it. And I noticed that a lot of my industrial section went abandoned because I forgot to zone them water. So I started to just bulldoze the abandoned buildings. They automatically go away if you give it enough time, but it lessens the land value around it, so I just make sure that I was using dynamic weather, because dynamic weather basically is like, oh, if it rains, it can rain and stuff like that. Pretty nice. So I started changing all the dirt roads to paved roads, just to increase the land value around it. Again, land value is very important in this game. So, I don't remember what I was doing right here, where I paused. And then I go to get a cemetery. Place the cemetery down because people were arguing about it. Well, not arguing, but complaining about it. Put a second police station down in the industrial park, so I was running out of places to... Well, I was running out of jail cells, really. Found a Detroit police car I downloaded. And then here I'm just looking at like the unique buildings I have, and I downloaded. Just seeing how big they are, because I downloaded a ton before I played this. So I don't know why I didn't do anything when I saw the water. And then it said tsunami wave detected, okay? If I would have noticed this before, I would have had time to like put a canal up and save my people. But it ended up flooding, and it destroyed 13 houses, or buildings, not just houses, and it killed 60 people. So, It started blocking off traffic and stuff on the highway, so I was kind of concerned about that. It also caused backup on my roundabout. So I was looking through my things to see if there was anything that could be like a good memorial to the people who died. And then I saw I could put a fishing boat in between a house and the road, okay? Now without prop anarchy, that'd be very hard to do. But I placed it, I bulldozed it because it didn't feel right after a tsunami. So I decided to get a disaster response unit to hopefully make some people like save some people from the wreckage. So there's a little disaster response vehicles going over to the sites of the destroyed houses. And then I just made them rebuild. So I'm working on like the main road now, which I will turn into a highway once I do get the chance. No, I'm just looking at the aftermath of the tsunami. So, notice that residential, again, is in extremely high demand. So I start zoning that all out. See how much a shelter costs. Start putting some fire departments. And then basically just making this part nice. Connecting it to the main road so it's easier to get to here. And then connecting the industrial section up to the main road. Zoning the industrial section around it. And then roundabout was getting a lot of traffic and it was getting really backed up, so I just decided to start upgrading it, turning it into highways and stuff, because I think that'd just be easier like on the traffic systems. So I put another clinic out of here, police station, and I put a small fire station that I downloaded off the Steam Workshop over there. And I'm admiring my work again. As you can see, I love to admire my work. So I start zoning for a new commercial section that will connect and that will surround the highway. Just to give it that urban feel when you're driving down. Notice they aren't lined up, so just redo that. So upgrading those because I forgot to upgrade them. And start to zone the commercial. Just put another coal power plant. I basically just zone commercial, not commercial, residential, and just let the commercial build up for the rest of the time.